Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Danielle Irby. Thanks for joining us. Throngs of mourners are filing into the Murphy Fine Arts Center on the campus of Morgan State University. That's where the body of Congressman Elijah Cummings, who died last week at the age of 68, is lying in repose. Cummings, beloved by his constituents and respected by his colleagues, called Baltimore home. And that's where a celebration of his life began this morning. Byron Scott has our story.
They came from across the region to say goodbye to Congressman Elijah Cummings.
So I spent some years interacting with the congressman.
In the mix of those stopping by the Carl J. Murphy Fine Arts Center at Morgan State University was Randolph Jews.
I worked with him prior to his being elected when he was at the State House as a delegate, and so we had some personal interactions with my district out here. I live in the Northwood community, so we had some things, and I personally worked with him on.
I wanted to show my respect.
There were people like Mary Ellen Russo who drove from College Park, yet she never met Cummings. What about him strikes you the most? What sticks out the most?
His integrity, his compassion for people, and his willingness to serve his country and his community.
I believe that we're going to get it done.
Cummings often spoke of preparing the next generation, and that's where Savoy Adams comes in. He was a member of the Elijah Cummings Youth Program in Pikesville.
Well, I was a part of his youth program. He has a youth program in Pikesville where he sends 12 youth leaders from Baltimore to Israel for a month. I got involved my 11th grade year through a middle school program I was a part of.
Elijah Eugene Cummings was born in Baltimore in 1951. He served in the Maryland General Assembly from 1983 to 1996 and in Congress from 1996 until his death last week.
Congressman Cummings was a congressman, but for Baltimore and the nation, he was more like dad.
For Tiffany Majors, Cummings was among those who stepped in 5 years ago when funding for her nonprofit family health agency dried up.
He assisted us in getting our grant back pretty much for $4 million, bringing $4 million back to the city of Baltimore for infant mortality.
I had the privilege of meeting him several times.
Pauline Oniamichi says the world lost one of the best.
He was downright a honest person, a people's person, a man of the people, and we don't have many like him left. So it's such a monumental loss.
Cummings will lie in repose until 5 o'clock this evening. Then at 6:30, there'll be a special tribute service with family, friends, and colleagues. In Baltimore, Byron Scott, CTV News.
And tributes and viewings will continue for Cummings tomorrow. He will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. His funeral is set for Friday at his home church, New Psalmist, in Baltimore.
For the last 22 years, Prince George's County has been the only jurisdiction in the region to have a ban on pit bulls. And it looks like it'll stay that way a bit longer. The County Council voted 7-4 yesterday in favor of keeping the ban in place. Members discussed the issue as part of a larger topic about updating its animal control policies. The ban remains as contentious as when it first became law.
From a pragmatic standpoint, I think the dog activists are probably correct. This is unusual in the country. It's not the most effective way to deal with dangerous dogs, and it's a financial burden on the county government. On the other hand, based on history, we have residents who have a lot of legitimate concerns about their health and safety. So it's really a tough issue. I'm listening to all sides.
And a public hearing on the county's animal control policies is scheduled for November 19th, the last day of the 2019 session.
The controversial police traffic stop that left a man paralyzed could be reviewed by the state's attorney's office. State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy issued a written statement today regarding police use of force. It says anytime there's an allegation of inappropriate use of force, her public integrity unit conducts an independent review to determine whether or not criminal charges are warranted. 24-year-old DeMonte Ward Blake was left paralyzed from the waist down after an arrest last week. Police say he was injured while attempting to flee. Meantime, as we reported yesterday, the local NAACP is calling for an independent review of the incident. Chapter President Bob Ross says it's important that citizens report any allegations of abuse.
Please call our office of any police problems that you have in the neighborhood. Because one of the problems that we have, people don't call us and tell us what's going on.
The Prince George's chapter of the NAACP can be reached at 240-619-5418.